Hey y'all, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be looking at the range of slip-on exhaust for the 21 Plus RSV4 and Tuono V4 from SC Project. We've got the CRT, the S1, SC1R, and of course the GP22. Now let's get these things installed and see what they sound like. Okay, so before we get started here, a little bit of a caveat is that all of these systems are in fact slip-on systems. So they're going to tie into your stock catalytic converter right here and essentially replace the rest of the stock exhaust here. With that being said, there is a flapper system in the stock exhaust, and this flapper is controlled by a servo motor that is controlled by the ECU. This is a spring-loaded flapper system, and basically what happens is the flapper is spring-loaded, its natural position is open, but there are some cables that tie in right here and basically will open this or close it based on what the ECU is asking for. So on cold starts and that kind of thing, it will close this system, and so it makes it go through this bypass right here. So you get a little bit less free-flowing exhaust gases, so you get a little more back pressure, getting a little bit more heat in the motor earlier. But then once the bike is up to temperature, the flapper opens and you get a nice amount of exhaust flow and a little bit more noise out of the exhaust system as well. In order to get these systems installed and then the ECU to recognize that everything's okay, you do need to make sure that that you have some sort of servo eliminator solution, and that can be either through a plug-and-play standalone system or as part of an ECU tune. So let's take a look at everything that's going to come in the box with this A27-T36CR. So that CR at the end is going to designate the carbon. That's going to be this carbon sleeve that is on the muffler body here. And then the R is going to designate that you get a stone grid on the exit of the exhaust there. From there, you've got all of the hardware that is going to come with the exhaust here. So this is everything that you need to install. And this is a pretty straightforward slip-on here. So you basically just get the welded link pipe that is going to connect right down here. So that is going to connect straight to your stock catalytic converter. Only a couple of tools are going to be necessary to get this entire exhaust installed. And then this bracket right here is going to be your new exhaust mount, and that goes essentially, we're going to pull these two bolts out right here, and then that bracket is going to go behind that that setup and then tie in to your bracket here. So let's take this opportunity to get these two systems on the scale, and we can see the difference in weight. The stock system here pipe clamp and hardware, looking at 12.1 pounds. And now the CRT, bracket, hardware, 2 pounds. Okay, next step is to get the rear sets off here, because this bracket that we have is going to mount behind the rear set, and then basically you just put those bolts back in, so we're reusing the OEM hardware. And then for this piece right here, you've got the rubber grommet that is going to go right in there, and then it's going to be kept in position, or kept in shape, in this round shape, with these two metal pieces there, and then you're going to be able to slide that up and down to you know, fit the exhaust hanger perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in place. I'm not going to put the Loctite on these, but you always want to make sure you do Loctite. But since I'm going to be installing multiples here, I'm going to not do the Loctite just yet. Manufacturer is calling for 25 Newton meters on these two bolts. So as you're installing, make sure that you're hitting your torque specs. Okay, we've got this all installed here. One thing to note on these metal pieces here, you want to make sure that you get the back side to be the threaded side. So you're going to run the screw in through there, and it is going to thread into the back side, and that'll cinch everything down. Now for the exhaust, just get your pipe clamp on. I like to put the clamp on the back side, and basically just get that to slide right on. Should sit down nice and easy, and then put your bolt in here, and that will thread into the back side. Like I said, don't tighten anything down yet. So you want to make sure, because you've got obviously a little bit of play, you want to make sure that everything is nicely seated. You've got nice clearance all the way around before you tighten everything up. Also, this is an opportunity for you to do a real pro job. I see so many people, they put the pipe clamp kind of oriented like this so you can see all of the mechanism that is the clamping mechanism. Just rotate that around. Just rotate that around, real nice. And then you have a real nice clean install. You don't see all that mechanism that's going on right there. Just roll that around and then tighten it from the bottom, and it'll be a pro install. So yeah, once you get everything kind of situated like you like, and all of the positioning is good, and with the pipe clamp, you don't have to go crazy tight, but you want to make sure that it's not going to rotate around the pipe at all. But yeah, that seems to be like it is good. Give everything kind of a, make sure that everything is seated. And then the last step before you start this bike up for the first time with the new exhaust is get you some WD-40 and wipe everything down nice and well, because you want to make sure that the exhaust is clean and it doesn't have any oils on it from your installation, your handling, and all of that, because that has the potential to mar the finish. Because with this titanium link pipe here, you're going to get some really nice bluing that's going to come out of that, and if you've got oils and that kind of thing, it can kind of not be quite as consistent a bluing finish, and that's kind of the reason that we do a titanium link pipe in the first place, so we get all those really cool colors. let's take a look at what we get with the S1. So this is the A27-T41T, and you get the really nice S1 with the slash cut, and you also have a full titanium construction here. You get some nice pie welds here, and then like I said, the titanium construction here. The S1 only comes with a titanium body, and then you get the matte carbon exhaust tip there, and then you have all of your hardware, the schematic, and then the pipe clamp and the retainer. And according to the parts diagram here, the bracket for the CRT and the S1 is exactly the same. So I am not going to replace this bracket. I'm just going to end up utilizing that same bracket that I've already installed on the bike. All right, so looking at the S1 here, you have a little bit more of a refined shape as compared to the CRT. You've got that really nice conical shape on the body here. You have the, like I said, the slash cut on the exhaust tip. You get that nice carbon tip here. Again, the S1 is only gonna come in titanium with the high contrast laser etched logo as opposed to a riveted metal full color badge. But looking at the CRT is a little bit more race forward. So if you look at the Moto2 grid, you've got the Fantic team, Elfmark VDS, and the Italtrans racing teams are all running a CRT exhaust on their, or very, very close to a CRT exhaust on their Triumph motors there. But that being said, you have a shorter link pipe here, longer body, so it is going to sit a little bit different. So major differences here are going to be mostly in the styling and a little bit of sound, but yeah. So let's get this thing installed. Should be super easy using the same hanger. Okay, so that is obviously a really simple swap between the two of them. But that being said, as always, don't tighten everything down until you have checked all of your spacing and all of that stuff, just to make sure that everything is sitting really nicely. So in the hanger as well as the bracket, you have a little bit of adjustment, so you can kind of go between the two and figure out exactly how you want that to sit. So you want to make sure you have plenty of room to clear the swing arm as it pivots, and then just make sure that you don't have any contact points or anything like that. But once you're happy with where the exhaust is sitting, you can tighten it down, and then lastly wipe everything down with your WD-40 to make sure it's nice and clean. So you see you have a really nice amount of clearance all the way around. And again, you have that wide open exhaust exit, so there is no dB killer available for this, but you want to make sure that you have nice clearance all the way around the exhaust, because the S1 does sit in that that exhaust provision in the swing arm. So tolerances are pretty close, but yeah, they have everything figured out to where it sits really nicely. Okay, we got the S1, bracket, clamp, hardware, 2.05. back on the bench. That is the S1, and now let's take a look at the SC1R. Okay, so the SC1R is a little bit more involved than the previous two. So again, this is the A27-T91C, and basically what this designates is the 91 is the length of the actual canister. So the 91 corresponds with, this is a 300 millimeter canister, and then the C obviously means the carbon for the sleeve. Then you've got the link pipe right here, the hanger bracket, the pipe clamp. You've got some anti-seize here, all the hardware, and then a spring, as well as the carbon heat shield that is going to sit right there. And as always, you've got your schematic that shows you everything, all the part numbers, and all of that. And the reason that we bring up that 91 in the part number is that the SC1R actually comes in 3 different versions. So the T91C is the 300 millimeter carbon version that also comes in a titanium version, so it'll have a titanium sleeve. And then it also comes in a T93C, and the 93 is going to designate that that is a 350 millimeter canister. So that is just going to be a larger canister in and of itself. So that is going to bring your overall volume down a little bit in case you're in an area that requires a lower, or you have some sort of restriction or something like that in your area. Or let's just say you want a quieter exhaust system. So both the T91 and the T93C and T are going to be valve delete systems. So we looked at the valve mechanism in the stock exhaust a little earlier, and if you want to retain that valve system, there is a version for you as well. So that is going to be the A27-VT90C. And so that 90 designates that that is a 250 millimeter canister. So it's going to be a little bit shorter, but it is going to retain that valve system in there. So you don't have to do the valve delete if you don't want to do that, that situation. So you do have a couple of different options, but let's get this S1 off of here and get the SC1R installed. Okay, I've got everything pretty much mounted up. I don't have anything tight yet, so you've got the 2 bolts under here, the bolt here. I went ahead and installed the spring here, and then you have the clamp here. I've left everything loose so that you're able to manipulate it. Make sure that everything is sitting flush, making sure that your link pipe here is down on the catalytic converter like it's supposed to be, that this exhaust canister is sitting down nice and flush on the link pipe, and so on and so forth. And yeah, once you're happy with the fitment and the clearances from all directions, you're good to go ahead and tighten everything down. Okay, so we got the S1, link pipe, hanger, clamp, hardware, and the carbon heat shield, 5.65. I know what you're thinking, but wait, the DB killer is still in there. And how does that come out? So if we look right here, the DB killer is going to be this piece right here, and it is held in by a bolt that you can see right there. And if you look on the other side here, you can see that that DB killer is going to make the exhaust exit a little bit smaller. So this circle right here is the other side of this piece right here. So basically we need to get this bolt out and then get that pushed through this end. So let's get the bolt out. Super straightforward, just a little bitty guy. And then I went ahead and put some WD-40 around the edge here, so that is going to help this thing move, because it is just pressure fit into the exhaust here. So then we're going to get our persuader and line it up. We're just going to start tapping. And I'm tapping in a circular pattern. So I'm tapping all the way around, and you can see it's already starting to pull out just a little bit. So that's this piece right here. So that is what we're trying to get out. And again, I'm just tapping in a circle all the way around that, so it doesn't end up wedging in the canister itself, because if it ends up wedging, you've got yourself a big problem. And there we go, just like that. Okay, so the SC1R without the DB killer is going to be 3.6, and with the DB killer is going to be 3.95. So there is a little bit of weight savings to be had without that DB killer. Okay, got everything tightened down, and you guessed it, the last step is always cleaning the exhaust. Again, the SC1R, just like the others, has a full titanium link pipe. So this, you're going to get some really nice coloration coming into the link pipe once you get some heat cycles on it. And then you've got the carbon canister and the carbon tip. That is the SC1R. In the sound clip that we just did, that did have the decibel killer out. So if you leave that dB killer in, you're basically going to save yourself about 5 decibels. So not a huge difference, but potentially a little bit of a step to keep the neighbors a little bit more happy with you. Again, you've got 3 different options. You've got the 350 millimeter canister, you've got the 300 millimeter canister, and then you've got the 250 millimeter canister that is going to be in that VT90 CNT, and that is going to retain the valve system in the stock ECU, or in the stock system. So this shape, the SC1R shape, is going to be something that is very considered by SC. So that shape is actually derived from the World Superbike paddock, as well as kind of racing around the world. Here in the US, the SC1R has been used to great effect by Robum Engineering in the Twins Cup for the last several years in Moto America. They're currently the reigning champions there with the the SC1R on their RS660s. So If you're noticing kind of a theme here, the CRT is coming from the Moto 2 paddock. You've got the SC1R coming from the World Superbike paddock, as well as Moto America. And then now we have the GP22, which is going to be something that is derived from the MotoGP paddock. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so this is the GP22. So it comes with this really nice display box. And then this is the full titanium exhaust here. And this is the closest thing to a MotoGP exhaust that you can get in a retail setting. So basically, you've got this GP22, you've got the clamp, you've got the bracket here, and then this is actually a titanium bolt that they supply. And with that titanium bolt in mind, the GP22 is an exhaust that essentially every single detail of this thing is considered. So this isn't a standard titanium that is just used to produce this. This is actually the same alloy that they're using with their MotoGP effort. So this exhaust is also constructed by hand in their Reparto Corsa division. So that is also the same division that they're producing the exhaust for the Aprilia MotoGP effort. So that being said, this is really a piece that is, if you want the highest echelon of construction, the highest echelon of parts, and so on, the GP22 really, there is no substitute for this. So if you want the best of the best, the GP22 is what you're looking for. Okay, now let's look at the GP22. Got the exhaust itself, hanger and hardware, and clamp. 1.3 pounds. Okay, as far as hardware goes, there's not much to this exhaust, but that being said, I did leave everything loose so I could make sure that everything is clearing the swing arm and is everything where I want it to be. And then from there, I'm gonna go through, tighten it up, and then we're gonna go ahead and torque these this time, since this is going to be the exhaust that is going to stay with this motorcycle. With that being said, I would like to give a big shout out to CTX down in San Antonio for loaning us this RSV4, and they are going to have this exhaust on this bike. So if you end up down in San Antonio, go check them out until they sell this bike. But the GP22 is going to stay with this motorcycle, and yeah, again, big shout out to them, super duper thanks. Last things last, before we start it, you know the drill. Get this thing cleaned off. Okay, let's get it outside and see what she sounds like.